KDP versus IngramSpark. Where should you buy your author copies from? At a glance, there's little to no difference between these two copies of The Empty Manger. However, if you look closely, and I mean closely, you can probably tell that the KDP printed copy looks a little bit lighter than the one from IngramSpark. That is because I assume KDP uses or asks you to upload your cover files with RGB color code, whereas IngramSpark asks you to use CMYK color code. When you get your covers from a designer and you are publishing from both platforms, they will send you the two different files. However, at a glance, you really can't tell. You have to almost have a magnifying glass to see that one is a little bit different. So it ultimately comes down to preference. Maybe you like the colors to be showing up a little darker, a little deeper, so you prefer Ingram. Maybe you like them to be lighter and brighter, so you use KDP. Maybe you get your books and they're the opposite. KDP looks darker, Ingram looks lighter. Maybe they look exactly the same. Comes down to personal preference, or a little bit of a test, which is what we are doing today. I need to order 50 copies of The Empty Manger, and because I don't really have any preference between these two covers, I have decided that I'm going to be ordering 25 from IngramSpark, 25 from KDP, and we are going to compare everything. We are going to compare shipping, packaging, how fast they actually arrived, the cost of it, and of course, the actual quality of the books. So let's place some book orders. First runner-up, we have KDP. Now, KDP is where I have published all of my novels, and I've only just recently uploaded The Empty Manger to IngramSpark, so it's a little easier for me to place the order. So we're using The Empty Manger first on KDP. I'm going to go down, I'm going to hit these three buttons, and what we want here is to order author copies. It's going to take me to this next page where I tell them how many I would like, where I want them to print it from. Now, KDP Kindle Direct Publishing is attached to Amazon, so we're going to go directly to Amazon.com, and then you hit Add to Cart. It is going to pull you up right next to your actual Amazon page, so let me block my address. So for KDP, my estimated arrival date is going to be between November 8th and November 9th. It is going to cost $15.50 to ship them, $2.30 per copy printed, and then of course, there's unfortunately tax, for the grand total of $78.75. Before I hit place my order, let's go to IngramSpark. This is my first time actually ordering author copies from Ingram, so I'm going to follow the same steps I did for my proof and hope it is okay. So I'm right on my dashboard, same thing I was on with KDP. I'm going to hit place order again. We're going to wait for this page to load for us, maybe. Here we go. And I'm going to then hit where it's shipping to, which is me. The return address is me. Return it to me, please. And United States. Just wait until you see what my estimated cost at checkout is going to be. For IngramSpark, it looks like it's going to cost $2.88 compared to KDP, which is $2.30 per copy. If we go down here, this is where the real shocker is. Now, the shipping is approximately the same, but keep note of this little thing here. This option is non-trackable and non-insurable. So essentially, have you ever heard those horror stories where people never get their copies from IngramSpark, or something happens and UPS is saying that they never got it, but IngramSpark is saying that they sent it? This is why. It's not trackable. You don't have a tracking number for it. Now, I'm not saying IngramSpark is bad. I got my copy perfectly safe. I know many people who prefer IngramSpark. I'm just saying you can't track it. But if you want tracking, it gets so expensive so fast. And if you look at the grand total, we're already at $94.49 compared to the $74 on KDP. But with that said, we're doing this trial run for a reason. Let's see how they end up comparing. Upon further consideration, I decided I don't want $100 worth of books to be completely on its own in the world, so I have upgraded to the commercial ground. Shipping, it's the next cheapest option, if you'll see. These are the other options where you can get them faster, you can get better service. doing the $18.85 one. And I forgot to show you this. I'm using their economy service, usually dispatches in 5 business days, versus the rush service is in 1 business day. It's the $20 difference is not really worth it for me when the 5 days for shipping is not that bad. They should be, I would assume, arriving relatively the same time. It is currently October 28th, 5:23 p.m. I'll be back when they start arriving. It is now November 6th, and I have a box. Take a second, guess which company this box is from. If you guess KDP, because they gave me an estimated delivery of roughly November 6th to the 8th, you would be incorrect. This is from IngramSpark. The second I hit place order, KDP changed estimated delivery from the 6th to the 8th to November 21st to 22nd. I don't really know what happened there. I still haven't had the charge hit my account. Now, because we're comparing every aspect, I will say IngramSpark charged my account immediately. I hit place order, I had the $98 charge on my account. When KDP does it, I know this from past experience, they don't charge you until they've started printing the books. So I don't know when they're coming. I still have hope they will arrive earlier. However, I wanted to open both boxes together, so if there was a day or two difference, I would have waited. But I'm not gonna wait 2 weeks just in case these books need any sort of help. And also, I'm excited. This is my first time getting a big box of books from IngramSpark. Now, I wasn't home when they were delivered. My mom sent me this picture here. Why is the box vertical? That is a wee bit concerning, but we're going to check and see exactly what's inside right now. Immediate first impression, I am preferring this packing job. KDP uses paper. They have big bubbles here at Ingram. So everything, actually, even with the fact that it was vertical, I don't think you could get these books damaged because of the way this is packed. So that is amazing. Let's just kind of do a quick scan through, see how many books we have and what they look like. I have exactly 25 copies with no dings, with no scuffs, with no scrapes, nothing sticky, nothing is creased, nothing is bent, no weird formatting issues. I just see 25 perfectly shelf-ready, ready to go to you books. And that is considering we know for sure this happened once, and I'm sure other times as well. The box got flipped all the way around. The books still came perfectly safe. So I have to say, so far, IngramSpark is winning the race. It is officially Book Box Comparison Day. As a refresher, I ordered both sets from KDP and Ingram on October 28th. This box here from Ingram arrived on November 6th, and today, November 13th, I got this box from KDP. So the first thing we're going to compare between them is how they are packed. I haven't looked inside yet, so this is my live reaction to how they are boxed. So all I see right now is a bunch of paper. So I'm assuming all of my books are under it. Ingram, like I showed you, has this bubble wrap, which I'm officially obsessed with this, but the paper is not necessarily bad. It does protect the books. So I'm going to assume we have 25 because there's an odd one on top, which would make sense. This is how they are under the paper. So it looks like 2 kind of piles with this extra one on top. Now let's count them and make sure nobody is damaged. I miscounted at first and I thought I had an extra book. I do not. I got exactly 25 books, which is exactly what I ordered. And I have to tell you, not a single one looks damaged. Everybody looks good, printed good, they look centered. So let's take one from each box and do a more in-depth comparison and see, is there a difference KDP versus IngramSpark? Now I already showed you at the beginning of the video a comparison, so here's a little bit of a quiz. Which one is from KDP and which one is from IngramSpark? Give you a second. If you guess that this one right here in my right hand is from IngramSpark, you are correct. And this one in my left hand is from KDP. Again, the only difference is that technically they print on different color scales, RGB versus CMYK. That is it. I see nothing different. I don't see that one of them looks wonky and the other one doesn't. If I am to look inside, let me find that same page here. Same thing. I think technically this one might have a little bit of darker lining, than this one, but you really have to squint to look, and it's probably not going up on camera. So it's now time to make the final verdict: KDP or IngramSpark. In order to answer this question, I am bringing the Magi into the argument. Now, these are proof copies, as you can probably tell by this not for resale stripe. In case you don't know the difference, author copies are typically bought in bulk because authors get these to sign and ship out to their readers. These are final copies of the book, ready to go. Proof copies, authors typically only order 1 or 2 because this is a copy they are using to proof the book. They're going to look through it, make sure it's printed okay. Does the spine look aligned properly? Is there anything wonky going on inside? Are they going to catch any last minute little errors? That's what a proof copy is for. Now, since we're comparing Ingram versus KDP, we might as well discuss why one has a not for resale stripe and the other doesn't. The reason for it, KDP adds a stripe, IngramSpark does not. That's it, there's really nothing special here. Now, technically, that means you could then sell your proof copy from Ingram as an actual author copy if you don't change the files. So for me personally, I found a couple formatting errors in these. I'm not selling this copy. This is going to be my personal copy for marketing. Also, I tend to read at least one of them cover to cover, which is actually why this one's a little like this. It's now gently used. I'm not going to be selling that. But yeah, technically, if it's not going to end up gently used and you don't need to replace the files, Ingram kind of wins because they don't have that stripe on it and it allows you to sell it. But right now, I want to talk to you about the shipping because with author copies, Ingram arrived way faster than KDP. Whereas with proof copies, it was the opposite. Just like with the author copies, I placed my request for the order on the same day. KDP approved my request for their proof copy and allowed me to order it within a couple hours. And then it arrived by the end of the week. I ordered it on a Monday. I got it, I believe it was on Thursday. It might have even been Wednesday. IngramSpark, meanwhile, took a couple days for me to have it approved and then officially place the order. And from there, it took almost 10 days for it actually to arrive at my house. Within an expected shipping date, it's currently the 13th. I got it yesterday. It was supposed to arrive on the 17th. So the proof copy game, it seems like KDP ships way faster, but here's something to note. I didn't pay extra for expedited shipping, and that really is going to be weighing into my answer when I tell you which is better in a second, or which I think is better. KDP, also quick shout out, they have been getting better and better about getting proof copies out fast. They used to take longer than 3 days, but recently, as I publish more books, I've been noticing we get them fast now. So KDP, they know what they're doing with proof copies. IngramSpark, they only know what you're doing if you pay them to know what they're doing. So if you need author copies fast and you need them to, not take a couple weeks, then IngramSpark easily wins. If you want your author copies in a couple days, they probably have a shipping option for it. Now, it is expensive fast. For this box of copies, you saw a $3 difference, right? It was like $15 for shipping versus $18 or something like that. With the singular proof copy, it was a $10 difference. So that is why I didn't pay extra. It would have cost me $10 extra to get it faster. So that brings us to the next thing. If you want a more budget-friendly option and you don't need it super fast, KDP absolutely wins. They are way more budget-friendly. IngramSpark gives you the option to empty out your wallet and get it much faster. I do prefer the way Ingram packs, but I will tell you I have heard quite a few horror stories about the condition of Ingram proof copies or author copies. And I've also heard quite a few horror stories about the condition of author copies from KDP. Book damage happens, so when I'm making this decision, I'm making it more so on the cost and the shipping. Final decision, if you need it fast, it's Ingram. If you don't have a super big rush and you don't want to break the bank, then KDP all the way. If you recall from the beginning of this video, when I was talking about how IngramSpark prints a little deeper and darker versus KDP is a little lighter and brighter, it's a bit of a preference thing. And in all honesty, I'm going to tell you the same thing at the end of this video as well. When it comes to which one you order your author copies from, really comes down to preference. If you need a more affordable option, then there is no argument that KDP is better. It cost me about $75 to order off of KDP versus about $100 on IngramSpark. However, in KDP took a lot longer to ship. So if you need them to arrive sooner, Ingram has a bit more control over when you want the books to arrive because they have about 10 different shipping options and some are arguably cheap. It really depends on the quantity of the book. Like I said, with the proof copy, it was a $10 difference. With the big box, it was only $3. KDP also sometimes offers that option to get them to arrive faster, but they get crazy expensive with that. Like we're talking almost a $30 difference if I'm remembering correctly. So if you want them faster, I think IngramSpark is the way to go. If your wallet's tight or you just want them to be more budget friendly, which as an author you probably do because publishing books is really expensive, KDP is the way to go. Comes down to preference. And in all honesty, even for me, I don't know what I prefer. I want to lean towards Ingram only because I have that control over the shipping, but the cost of author copies is expensive enough on KDP. I don't know how many I can afford to reasonably stock my shelves on KDP, on Ingram, especially because some of my thicker books, they cost a pretty penny to print. So I have to ask you, what do you prefer, KDP or IngramSpark? A quick ad is that KDP has absolutely phenomenal customer service when it comes to when copies come damaged, because they do. You are eventually going to get damaged copies. I honestly can't believe I got 50 without a single messed up copy. But KDP has great customer service. I've never worked with Ingram's customer service. From what I have heard, what other authors have told me, they're not always the best. So, again, it comes down to your preference. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it provided some insight to you. I really do think the biggest difference between the two is the actual cost and not so much the shipping, because the shipping thing, we're talking about adding more cost. So it comes down to your wallet, your needs, and how you prefer your books to be shipped to you. Thank you for watching this video, whatever time it is, morning, evening, or night. I hope you have a great day.